for this country as foundational Black Americans. But I'm here to tell you all today that your problems are relevant. Any issues that you find yourself having, I do urge you to take accountability, but also take as much accountability on yourself onto your government as well, onto the people inside the country as well, that watches your communities are swarmed with drugs and alcohol, the liquor stores, the smoke and vape shops. Put as much accountability as you put onto yourself, onto your government. So many people think that, oh, this is just my fault. I'm the one that messed up in life. I'm the problem. The world tells me when there's problems that I need to fix it. That's true. You should fix your problems. That's very true. But also you should urge the ones that started the problem to fix that problem as well. And that's what I'm saying here today, is that a lot of these YT people have not fixed the problem at hand. They go and try to give aid to all these other countries except their own home base. It's so sick that it's come to a point where they give so much assistance to other countries, but when it comes to your own military, and those aren't even Black people, you don't even care for them. I thought we give military aid. I thought we give military assistance. If it was my country that I made myself, the rawest nation on earth, the tribe, whatever I would like to call it, you would never see one homeless veteran. You would never see one a sickly military or ex-military comrade. You would never see them, you know? Even if they wanted to live on the streets, that would be impossible. You would never see me saying that this man inside the military that fought for this country, his wife cheated on him while he was at war. You would never see me take this man's money, take this man's pension, give it to the wife because she decides to file for a divorce with your military husband that fought for this country. You would never see that. But I'm saying here today, brothers and sisters, that there's so many issues inside this country, and we see this country of America, they like to fix others. They haven't even attained or gave any restitution for what they did during slavery times. They say that they did, but I can say that I can jump right now all the way to, a Fiji Island. I can say that I can jump and do it. That doesn't mean that I did or that I can. That's just a simple truth. So it's important to take accountability, but never forget the fact that they used to cook us, grind us up, and turn us into soup. They tortured us. They brutally beat us. They castrated us. They assaulted our women. They threw our youth into alligator mouths. And they tell you to take all the accountability. That was years ago. You take all the accountability. Interesting. Interesting. Let's go ahead and read some of these comments. Let me know that you guys are here. Leave a comment inside of the chat. Let me know that you guys are here and listening and receiving this work that we're given today. I do appreciate everybody for being here and listening on this Black History Month, but I'm here to let you guys know it's Black History Year. That's every day. Black history never stops. It never stops. I want to acknowledge real quick all of these strong Black ancestors that we have that paved the way for us. That's one thing I believe that in his story, we don't talk about enough. See, history, also known as his story, because this is another man telling us his accounting of what happened previously in the past. A lot of times we only go off of what those people will tell us, which makes it his story, definitely. But what is the true story? What is the story that he didn't see or that he was incapable of looking at? Well, the simple truth is we had so many foundational Black Americans inside this country that have done so much for this country. We always talk about Malcolm X. We always talk about Martin Luther King. We always talk about all of the amazing ancestors that we had that have done so much for us. Even if they did mess up at some point in time, we could hear that their message was sincere. We felt something in us. It resonated with our soul that told us that what these people are saying is correct. These people are assisting us and they're doing right for us. So we do give them their appreciation, we give them their praise, but I also want to uplift all of the ancestors that don't get mentioned. Right now, as you listen to this video, a lot of you are Black melanated brothers and sisters right now that maybe doing something great with your life, maybe not even be getting the recognition that you deserve because this country decides to push up the fools and leave all of the Black intelligent people at the very bottom. I'm here to let you know that in our story, we will uplift you. In our story, we will uplift the ancestors that didn't get their praise because they did so much for us. And you may be one of those that need to get your praise. So I uplift you and I uplift all of the ancestors for all of the work and all of the care and all of the progress that they made towards us living the amazing life that we live to this day. Even though this life isn't perfect inside of this sick, for God-forsaken country, one thing we can say is that we had so many great brothers and sisters that didn't get enough credit, that deserve all the utmost praise. Even yourself right now, you could be doing something. Praise yourself. You deserve the utmost praise as well. There's so many fools being pumped out to the masses, but we have certain brothers and sisters that have done so much, sacrificed so much to this day, that don't get any praise. They don't get no love. We need to show uplifting of them. We need to manifest, not even just manifest. I don't even like to say that word as a man, manifestation, for me, that's energies and all this stuff like that. But we need to uplift by putting our hand on one of the brothers and pushing them up, putting our hand on one of the sisters and pushing them up. If we see a Black person, foundational Black American that's trying their best in life, we push them up. For so long, actually, I was a huge problem in my own community. I didn't even know. I would see Black people that had made a mistake, but they learned from the mistake, and I wouldn't encourage them to do better just because they did that previous mistake. I would say, "Well, you're a bad person," but I foolishly didn't take into account that we're inside of this sick, inhumane society that feeds off of the Black man and Black woman's of misfortune. So for so long, I didn't really understand, and I wasn't able to conceptualize the fact that after you break free from the mental matrix of your captors and from your enslavers, the next thing that's most important is that your community uplifts you and pushes you up. So I want to give all praise and all celebration to all the ancestors and all the Black men and women that are trying right now. You might have made a mistake in your past, but you've learned from it and you see now that this is the time to do better. I want all of us to uplift them and give them praise. Okay, everybody? I want all of us to do that. I'm not talking about sending energy or manifesting. I'm saying when you see a Black man or a Black woman, after all the things we've been through inside this country, when you see our people trying, I'm letting you guys know that it would be in our best benefit to uplift them. Longer days, we shame them, we uplift them. We tell them that they can do better when we see they're trying. The ones that aren't, we can try to uplift them as much as we can, but we have to acknowledge some of them are lost and they'll be forever lost. That's no problem. We want to focus on the Black men and women that are doing something in this day and age, the ones that didn't decide to be lazy, the ones that see that these white tea supremacists are evil and doing the worst to us, the ones that see the corruption, see the evil, see the racism, see it all, but they still try. We want to always uplift them, brothers and sisters. We want to always do that. We want to always do that with our people. Long are the days we shame them for their one mistake. We cannot blame them for this mistake, given that this environment, this situation is inhumane. We were brought here in an inhumane way, and how we are told to live inside of this sick society of America as Black people is also inhumane. How are we supposed to live and function with roaches and rats inside of some of the cribs because a lot of these mothers cannot afford to have good homes because of what you caused? You caused a delay in financial security for a lot of our Black sisters and Black brothers. You caused it, but you expect us to function normally in an inhumane and unnormal society and environment. Interesting how they do that. It's reverse psychology, brothers and sisters. Stay with me. Stay with me. All right. If you appreciate what I'm saying too, go ahead and hit me on all my social media platforms. Give me a follow to show some love. I definitely appreciate it. But yes, let's go back to the main topic. We have the history of Black people. We were eaten. We were eaten. Can you imagine being boiled alive, because we know that they didn't just off us first. That would put us out of our misery. They wanted us to feel the suffrage because we were dealing with demons. They wanted us to feel it. If we off you and then cook you, how will you feel the pain? Mind you, for everyone that most likely will be thinking that, oh, this is a fairy tale, I urge you to do your research. Not only did Nat Turner get cooked and turned into what he got turned into, they say they kept his skull as a memoriam. They ate his brain to understand how he could be so powerful. Yet they want to act like this stuff is folklore. Oh, them eating black people. Oh, that's crazy. Why would we ever do that? Google it, do your research. It's out there for those that want to learn. But the biggest, grandest issue with this society is we're living in a society of people that do not want to learn. They don't want to learn. Let bygones be bygones, as they say. It's the past. Who cares? It's the past. The past won't happen again, right? I'm sure it won't happen again. So why learn about my history? No problem. It's unfortunate. Very, very unfortunate. So sad. So I want to quickly just go over the background of Black people being eaten. I want us to talk about this real quick. The white tea people used to eat us during slavery. I want to talk about this. Let me get it on Google for you guys. For everyone that is queasy, and it might be uneasy to take in certain amounts of information because it gets pretty brutal. I want you guys to prepare yourselves because this is about to get very, very sickening. Okay. But we have to understand the history of what happened to Black people. Now, this is a direct answer straight from Google, and they even cite sources, I believe. Let me see. Yeah, they even cite their sources. We have books called The Delectable Negro. I believe this one was recent. Yeah, it says that it was a book written with the U.S. slave culture is 2014. Yeah, it was a recent book that was put out about all the ways that they would prepare us. These people are so disgusting and sick. These demons, excuse me. I would never disrespect real humans by calling these demons people. So excuse me for that. I made a mistake. So I asked Google, I said, give me the when and how Black people were eaten. It starts off by saying, to understand this history, it is important to distinguish between maritime survival and ritualized terror and medical exploitation. While not a standard part of plantation life, there are specific documented historical instances where Black humans were consumed. We're going to break it down for you guys. If you're queasy, you might have to click off. But we need to show you guys exactly how these demons treated us. For all the fools that always say, Black people, y'all need to get over slavery. It's in the past. Oh, slavery wasn't that bad. Oh, Egypt had slaves as well. You foolish buffoon. I can guarantee you the Egyptian slavery for most American, foundational Black American slaves would be a godsend. It would be the most beautiful thing ever when you compared it to American slavery. These demons are so disgusting and sick. Let's start with number one, survival, cannibalism at sea. And by the way, before previously, when I was saying we must uplift those, I don't mean just laying your hand on them and uplifting our brothers and sisters. I also mean that we must pour into them, finance them in ways that we can support them when they're trying. We must congregate together as a family, as a unit, and eventually finding our tribe, let that money circulate throughout us. It's very important. because it's only so few of us inside of this country that are still mentally sane. Number one, and we'll talk about all that in a minute, but number one, survival, cannibalism at sea from 1820 to 1841. And by the way, these are only the ones that were accounted for. Plenty of slaves were eaten, but these are only the ones that were documented and accounted for. So let's keep that in mind. In the 19th century, when ships were wrecked or lost at sea, the custom of the sea, drawing lots to see, would be eaten, was often practiced. However, racial hierarchies often dictated who was sacrificed first. The Essex, 1820, after a whale sank this ship, the crew spent months in lifeboats. The first 4 people to be eaten were black sailors: Charles Shorter, Isaac Cole, Lawson Thomas, and Richard Peterson. Historians note that while the white sailors had protectors, among the officers, the black crew members were viewed as more expendable. These men were so cowardly that they would eat another human instead of just accepting their fate. Because I'll tell you one thing, if a whale, and I'm in the middle of the ocean, if a whale breaks off my whole entire boat, at this point, I'm not eating another human. This is another person that also wants their life. It seems, may the strongest survive. And when I mean the strongest, not the most cowardly, where you turn on your own brother, stab him in the back, and then go ahead and eat his corpse. I mean, may the strongest survive, as whoever has the will to survive will survive. If your ancestors and if your God wants you to survive, you will survive. If you want to survive, then you will survive. How far can you swim? How long can you tread water? How long can you go without food? I ask myself these questions daily, and even sometimes I try to challenge myself by taking a moment of not eating for the day just to see how strong my willpower is. I do these things to train myself, because if there does come a day that I'll be in a sick, unfortunate situation like this, I'd never want to turn on my brother, stab him in his back, and eat him. It's disgusting. But these demons didn't view us as their brother. They viewed us as expendable, as they said. A lot of accounts will remember that we were considered 3/5 human. We next have the arrogant, and this was 1837. This was a Spanish/Portuguese slave ship. During a period of tension, the crew reportedly I can't say the word, but they offed an enslaved African man. They cooked his heart and liver and ate them in front of the other captives to terrorize them. You see how sick this goes, brothers and sisters? Do you see how sick this is? Next, we have ritualized terror and execution. 1700s to 1800s. In the Caribbean and the American South, consumption was sometimes used as a public display of total dominance. The rendered fat, 1831, after Nat Turner's rebellion, Nat Turner, the great foundational Black American that I spoke of, who sacrificed so much to get out of the disgusting and free the slaves from the disgusting oppressive state that we were all in. He even was subjected to what they say here. He was suppressed. Accounts from the time and later, verified by historians like Vincent Woodard, state that Turner's body was not just dissected, but rendered. His body fat was reportedly boiled and turned into grease, and his skin was turned into a souvenir for purses. You see how sick it is. And they tell you in America, slavery was in the past. Oh, the Africans had slaves too. They never ate us. They didn't turn us into bags. They didn't boil us down, turn us into grease. Somebody needs to look into the KFC dude too. Colonel Sanders, what type of grease was he using? But the African people who had slaves never did all this. We have the records here. These demons cooked, ate us, and used us as their handbags, used our skin as handbags, used our teeth. George Washington, well known president of the United States, used a slaves. They said they took from 50 or how many slaves did they say? 40 slaves. And they took a tooth from each of their mouths and binded them together and put it into George Washington's mouth. These are demons. These aren't humans. For all the ones that verify and justify this behavior, saying that, oh, African slavery was just as bad without even knowing their history, those are also demons. The audacity. Next, we have the medicine, the medicinal consumption. In some extreme cases of white supremacist violence, parts of an executed enslaved person, such as their heart or brain, were reportedly consumed by members of the lynch mob or the enslavers, believing it would transfer the strength of the victim or serve as an ultimate act of desecration. Energy transference. Why would you take a Black slave and want to eat their heart or their brain? Energy transference. They're transferring energies. They must know something we don't. They use it for medicinal purposes. So you telling me it does pay to be strong in this life, right? Because why else would they eat us and try to attain resources from eating our offsetted carcasses? Very interesting. Oh, here comes number 3. More medical and commercial consumption. While not eating in the culinary sense, the literal process of Black bodies into products for ingestion was a documented practice. Wow. We have Mummy Brown in medicines in the 18th and 19th centuries. There was a belief in corpse medicine. Parts of deceased enslaved people were sometimes ground into powders or tinctures. And they tell you, never let them tell you, brothers and sisters, that, oh, this slavery, it was just the same as Africa. Oh, Black people, you guys need to get over slavery. It was in the past. Oh, you guys don't deserve reparations. Oh, you're ghetto, you're hood, you're this, you're that, and this. Never let these fools convince you that you're less than. We are the gods on this planet. You literally ate us, the same as they once did to Jesus Christ. They said they took Jesus's body and took his blood. They ate it to remember him, to influence their body to be uplifted. And in this article, they're also saying that they took the Black bodies and consumed it after slavery as well. In times of slavery, they're probably still doing it to this day. But they took our body as slaves and ate it, drank our blood. Interesting how that works. Interesting. Jesus died on the cross for everyone's sins. To remember him, to retrieve the Holy Spirit inside of you, you take his body, you take his blood, you drink, you eat it. The Black man, once enslaved, a Black woman, once enslaved, you take their body, you take their blood, you consume it. Interesting. It's almost like they thought of us as gods or something, one would say. Well, who knows? Who knows? Right? Who knows? How interesting, right? Because right here, it shows that they're doing the same exact thing as they did with God, with Jesus Christ, their own Jesus, their own God, right? Didn't they bring us Jesus Christ? And for those that may be listening to say to themselves, well, okay, well, maybe this is just a coincidence, that they're both kind of we're all getting eaten here in really inhumane ways. Fine. Something that never really sat well with me was the fact that to remember God In the Christian Bible, they say you must eat his body, you must eat his blood, drink his blood. Hmm. Sounds a bit evil, if one would question. It's curious. So with Jesus Christ, you ate his body, you drank his blood. Sounds a bit demonic. With the slaves, you did the same thing. You ate our bodies, you ate our blood, you drank our blood. Interesting. Interesting. Let's continue. Forced ingestion. There are records of shipboard discipline where enslaved people who went on hunger strikes were force fed. In some gruesome accounts of punishments, enslaved people were forced to eat the flesh of other captives or even their own severed body parts, such as ears, as forms of psychological torture. Wow. You can't make this stuff up, guys. You can't make it up. Wow. Wow. Disgusting, sad, inhuman, demonic, unspiritually just. These demons were so corrupt, so evil. It only makes you appreciate these decent white tea folks that are here now even more. Shout out to the decent white tea people. I want to say his name correct. I believe it was John Brown, one of the decent white tea people who didn't do evil towards us. Kind of makes you question some things, right? Was he really white? Because since we were so delectable, a treat that's neat, fun to eat. Interesting. But shout out to the decent white tea folks that do not engage in disgusting practices that advocate for Black people in this country. Small amount, but appreciated amount. Number 4, the fear of being eaten. During the Middle Passage, many Africans believed they were being kidnapped specifically to be eaten by white tea cannibals. This fear was driven by several factors: seeing large copper kettles on ship decks, seeing white sailors drinking red wine, which captives mistook for blood, the practice of branding humans like cattle. Interesting. Hmm. This gives you a quick breakdown of everything we just mentioned. It says at the end, this is a heavy and disturbing area of history. Would you like me to provide more information on the academic research regarding the psychological impact? Huh, we'll save that one for another day. We know what type of psychological impact it had on our people. I don't need the bot to tell me that. But the truth is, brothers and sisters, that these are some truly demonic and inhuman things that's been done to us. So I just wanted to get that out the way, that whenever these demons tell you that, oh, it's your fault, you're the problem, I want you to tell them that they are 100 times the problem than you are. Yeah. How about that? You, as the YT person telling me that I'm the problem, you are 100% worse than I could ever be. I don't care if I went and did something crazy. I could do something insane. I would never be the problem. You guys are the problem. You made us this way. The unfortunate truth is that a lot of Black people will not want to hear this. It's the unfortunate truth, but the same domestication that wolves had to turn into these dogs is the same domestication a lot of these Black people have had. It's the same amount, same amount, same amount. All this hood stuff that they mentioned, that, oh, Black people are ghetto and we're hood. It's so funny to me because I recount that previously, before us being in this country, we had functioning and flourishing environments. We lived off of the earth. You demons come in, pillage, and do disgustingly inhumane things to us. And now You're complaining that we are acting too hood. Interesting. Interesting how that goes. I just can't even. Interesting. Okay. So now let's real quick recount the issues that we're currently facing inside the Black community. I thought this part was very important, and for everybody that's curious what this is on your screen right here, this is just a recount of what we're talking about today for the history. That's his story. And out of his own story, it says that Black people were taken by white people and we were turned into food. We were eaten. So if you guys are wondering what that picture in the back is, that's exactly what that is. Very, very, very unfortunate. But it's important to mention in this live stream today here, we are talking about the Black man and Black woman story. We're not talking about his story and his recounts on what he can remember. We're talking about what we know, what the facts are, and what our story truly is. We will also later on talk about solutions and what our story will end up being. But as of right now, let's go ahead and talk about the issues the Black community faces to this day that still plagues us. We have the fact that we are extremely easily distracted. We have the shade room. We have FBA versus African diaspora debates. Silly. We have the numbingness to everything that we go through as Black people, slowly losing our humanity. We have other countries that I'm gonna tell you guys just how deep it is actually. Let me take a sip of water real quick. How y'all liking this work right now? Y'all appreciating the live stream? Let me know. Leave it in the chat. Go ahead and like the video as well. Get a sip of water real quick before I cook. For everybody that's tuning in right now, we have a lot of great content. I just want to show you guys real quick on Patreon, patreon.com/traveltriberaw. You guys can get access to, some great live streams that we did, some really great live streams that we've done. Also, you can show some support if you don't want to hit the chat. Go ahead and show some support. $traveltriberaw. But I want to talk about real quick how deep this whole slavery thing goes, right? This is how deep it goes. Pause again. You guys know I've traveled all around the world and I've seen a lot of amazing things. I've seen a lot of amazing people. But one of the most peculiar things that I've seen inside of a lot of these foreign countries is the fact that when I look at these people in foreign countries, I say to myself, wow, they still have so much humanity inside of them. Somebody could get their car stuck on a road and you'll see every single person that's behind them get out their car, help to move it to the side. They could have just drove around like most Americans, but they get out of their car, they fix the issue, and they all go on with their day. A woman gets her bag stolen, all the dudes in the area will chase that guy down. I'm not joking, especially in Africa. Shout out to the Africans. If a police officer was to do something inhumane, like pow pow to one of the African people, the whole entire Africa would be in an uproar. They would all go crazy and say, what the hell just happened? How did it happen? Why did it happen? It makes no sense. We don't off each other here. But I want you guys to see just how deep slavery goes for the Black man and Black woman. What happens when we as Black American, foundational Black Americans see or hear about a police officer offing us pow pow? What do? Some may go to McDonald's in their night with a McFlurry. Some may go shopping. We see another Black man has been shot, another Black woman's been shot. And this is how deep and sickening slavery goes for us. Inside of this country, we are so numb to everything that happens here. We're getting used to it. It's one of the most unfortunate things about traveling the world is when you see that there's people that when they hear that, oh my God, did you hear somebody got off? Somebody got powed, pew pewed. The whole country is in an uproar. I mean, you can't walk into anywhere without them listening to the news or talking about it. But in America, we have ICE, we have white T supremacist officers, police officers, we have gang violence, we have certain organizations and groups that will do inhumane things. And we just completely just, oh, well, another black person. Oh, wow. Hey, babe, another black person just got shot. Oh, really? Damn. What happened? I don't know. He was driving or something. Hey, babe. Oh, what happened, babe? Oh, this other black person just got shot. Oh, what happened? Oh, he was running. Oh, hey, babe, what happened? Oh, this black person right here, he was eating ice cream in his house, and a white police officer walked in his house, offed him, and only got 4 effing years on good behavior. We have completely normalized being brutally beaten and having inhumane things done to us. And I want you black brothers and sisters to know that we are slowly losing our humanity. We're slowly losing it. When you're in such a sick society for so long and you become accustomed to the sick environment that you're in to survive, you have to adapt to survive here, right? We can't make money to provide for our families if we don't, you know? So you go ahead and you take the average black man inside of America or a black woman inside of America. We don't get a chance to grieve our loved ones anymore. That job will drop us immediately. In foreign countries, I've seen where they'll give you a whole 2 weeks off of your job, especially if it's a family owned business or something like that. They actually care about the humanity of it. It's a humanity thing. We're losing our humanity in this country, guys. We are so desensitized. And us black Americans, foundational black Americans, we were never like this pre-slavery. Pre-slavery, we were never like this. We were never like this. We are becoming so desensitized, guys, so desensitized. We've heard stories where even these police officers, they would take the lives of our offspring, our youth, the ones that look to us to protect them, and we didn't protect them. We did not protect them. Our youth looks to us to protect them, and we do not protect them. Our youth gets offed by a police, pew pew to the face, to the dome. They're no longer here. The black community in America, we talk about it for a day. Next day, it's done. Like it didn't even happen. Our poor youth that we brought into this life have to suffer the consequence from our foolish actions of having the offspring in an inhumane environment that is not normal at all. But our youth must suffer because our foolishness, because the fact that we don't want to get organized, because the fact that we want to be desensitized. This is how I know that we're living in a sick, sick country. I've had streams where I've had like a couple hundred people inside of the live stream. I would tell them, we need to unify. The time is now. Message me on Instagram. We have hundreds of people listening. Do you think any of them message? No. Messaging me on Instagram to become part of the group chat, that doesn't cost any money. That doesn't take up much more time than maybe 1 or 2 minutes of your life. That's extremely long when you use it right. But what do? Scatter. This is why we can't get anything done. We are too unorganized. We're too unorganized. And a lot of people, just to be honest, truly don't care. See, if I'm watching a brother's video or a sister's video where they're telling me that we have a healthy group chat where we just want to have unity. We want to have just unity. That's all we're asking for. Black first, simple as that. And they say it's free to join. Guess what I'm doing? I'm joining immediately because I want to network. I want to have that community. A community is important. But we're so desensitized to all the disgusting and evil, unfortunate things that happen to us in this country that people don't think to network anymore. People don't think to form communities anymore. When's the last time you heard of a block party, a mother effing family reunion? Can we get anything? Can we have anything? It's all done. We have normalized them doing inhumane things to us. There's only two ways I see life going. You can normalize brutality and normalize our offspring getting offed, normalize the women having horrible pregnancies and not being able to come to full term with their offspring because we know this is how they do our sisters. We can normalize black men in jail. We can normalize all this, or we can uprise and do the complete opposite. There's only two ways this works. Unfortunate, it's been far too long, but there's only two ways this can go. There's only two ways. Oh, you were looking for a third? I don't have one. There's only two ways. There's only two ways this can go. Two ways, and that's all you get in life. And you're lucky that you have two. It's funny because I think to myself, I'm not the first black man that said something like this, right? I mean, I'm sure there's been plenty before me that have said something as well. What happened to those unions? What happened to when they were doing things? Not enough. Not enough. Not compared to them. We are living amongst true demons. We need to talk about something even more serious, but we're going to get to that in a quick second. And shout out to everybody that's here. Let it be known that you're here by leaving a comment in the chat or liking the video. A like goes a long way when you don't comment or send in any super chat. I mean, I'm not asking by force. I'm just asking for some, some support. It's definitely appreciated. But let's get on to the main part right now. Matter of fact, we have a dude. This guy's name is Shaboozey. Have you guys heard of him? I believe he's a country singer. And country originated inside of Black America. But his name is Shaboozey. I'm going to look him up real quick. Shaboozey Grammys. Oh, I should have typed that into YouTube. Excuse me, everyone. 1 second. Boom, YouTube. Shout out to everyone that's here. I want to show you guys something. This is really important. This is a huge part of the problem. Huge. 1 second. We're going to get onto this right now. Give me 1 second, everyone. Hope I credit for showing this.
I should write a speech. I said, dear God, I just want to say thank you. Nothing is possible without you. Your love and will preserves me through it all. I want to also thank my mother, who as of today has retired from her job after 30 years. Me and my my four siblings. Sorry, thank you so much, brother. And everybody else, Sean Cook, Devin Sastry, Josh Klein.
Did you hear that? Let's repeat. This award is for who?
This team in the world. Thank you so much. And again, the last thing I want to say, immigrants built this country, literally.
The who?
Immigrants built this country, literally.
Who?
Immigrants built this country. Immigrants built this country. Immigrants built this country. Immigrants built this country. Immigrants built this country.
Do you see the problem? Immigrants built the country, you say? That's interesting. Maybe I'm confused. Maybe I'm lost. I'm trying to figure something out real quick. Immigrants built this country. Interesting. Because as I can recall, the definition of an immigrant is someone who immigrates to this country and is here willingly, not somebody that is forcefully taken or sold to the country that they're going to. Maybe I'm wrong. Let's go ahead and look this up, right? Let's go ahead and look this up, shall we? Let's look this up. One second. Let me get it on the screen real quick. Then I'm gonna add you guys back in. 1 second. Let's look this up, guys. We have time today. We have time. Immigrants built this country. Interesting. Okay, no problem, no problem. We'll get this sorted out in a second. 1 second. Immigrants built this country. Interesting. Because on my screen right here, it says an immigrant is a person who comes to live, who comes to live, who comes to live. Not who's stolen, brutally beaten, tortured, and brought over. No, the slaves built this country. Fool. The slaves built this country. Fool. Fugazi or whatever his name is, Shaboozey. What's the rapper? What's the R&B dude name? Shaboozey. What a goofy name. What a goofy name. Immigrants built the country. Oh, brother. He needs to go. He needs to go. He needs to go. He must go. Dedicated it to immigrants like his mother. Yeah. And that's the biggest problem here is that, see, I saw some people trying to say, oh, you know, he didn't mean it like that. He meant to say that, oh, like immigrants, like, you know, like technically Black Americans are immigrants. So he didn't mean it like that. He didn't mean it like that, even though his following statement was literally people that are coming over to this country and immigrants and all that. Oh, he didn't mean it like, oh, they're the ones that built it. What? No, he didn't mean it like that. He just said it like that. He didn't mean it like that, though. This is the next big problem that we're having inside of the foundational Black American community, the same community that is the one that built America up with free labor that was never paid for, but should be paid for and still needs to be accounted for before you especially blame the Black Americans for all of our troubles, being hood and ghetto and all the other ones, and baby mamas and rappers and all these hooting hollering Negroes. And yeah, some reparations seems like it's in need. It's just interesting. So let's talk about another huge issue that the Black American community faces on this foundational Black Americans month, right? Let's talk about another issue that we have faced inside of this country, the erasing of our history. Now, we have this guy named Shaboozey here, or Shaboozey, Fugazi is what I'll call him. He dedicates his award to the immigrants and says that they built up the country, all this sickness, all this sick stuff. Yeah, they have had their part in the uh, more of these times, more of the 2000s, 19th, 2000th century. Yeah, we get it. 20th century. Okay. Yeah, okay, yeah, yeah. We have some immigrants that have came over and contributed, and they've done great work on America. Oh, great. Oh, yeah, they've done some things. But to say that immigrants built the country, no, no, no. Maybe you got it wrong, Fugazi. I think he might have misspoken. I think he might have misspoke. Right? The audacity, like the audacity is crazy to me. The audacity is crazy to me. Immigrants built this country. And on this foundational Black Americans month, I want all of you brothers and sisters to understand that we're not just at this point dealing with the white tea man that is trying to erase our history. We're also dealing with these tethers that come into the country that are also contributing in the destruction of our history as well, trying to reshape history. So, on one end, we have the white tea supremacists that say our history never happened and it didn't exist, and Black people weren't slaves and we don't deserve any money. And on the other end, we have these tethers that come in that are trying, that we have paved the way for to come in. Then they come in just to tell us that, oh, our history, we all contributed. No, fool. No, no, you didn't. No, you didn't. Not the same way as my ancestors contributed to this country. I think the F not. I think the F not. And that's the next biggest issue we deal with as foundational Black Americans in this Black History Month, the erasing of our history. Like I said, one party, which are the tethers that come in, will say reshape our history. Then we have the white tea supremacists that are saying our history never happened. That's why we don't teach it in schools anymore. So it's really just up to us. We all that we got left. The audacity of these folks to come into America, the country that we paved the way for them to be in. They come into the country and say that, oh, we all paved the way for us to come to America. What? Well, that would be insane and not true, because nobody was allowed in America previously unless you were a Caucasoid complexion. They wasn't getting Africans and telling them to come out to America. Hey, African brothers and sisters, would you like to come out to America? The white tea people never said that. I'm just a bit confused. Interesting how that works, isn't it? So then we have this goofy tether. He comes in and then says an apology. He then apologizes for his words. Let's see what he says in his words. Maybe he's going to make it right. Maybe Shaboozey or Goofy or Fugazi or whatever his name is, maybe he'll make it right, right? Let's see if he comes in and says something good. Let's see. Let's go ahead and look up Shaboozey. Is it Shaboozey or Shaboozey? Am I saying it right? Let's see if he maybe he made things right, guys. You know, people can change, right? That's what they say. People can change. All right, let's see. Maybe he made things right, huh? Who knows? Maybe he made things right. Let's go ahead and see his apology real quick. Real quick before I begin, do you guys think he made his do you think he corrected his statement? You know, people can change, you know. Maybe he righted his wrongs or something. Maybe let's check what Shaboozey's apology was, okay? So it says here Shaboozey is responding to criticism of the speech he gave at the 2026 Grammy premiere ceremony. First and foremost, I want to express my deep gratitude to everyone who has supported and celebrated my journey as an artist. I also want to acknowledge the conversation surrounding my acceptance speech. To be clear, I know and believe that we Black people, interesting. So now you're Black? Oh, because I thought you were a tether at first, but let's continue. Because if you were a Black person, see, a Black person would have said, and I want to show appreciation to all the ancestors that came first. I want to show appreciation to all the Black people that have put in the work that made me become who I am. The reason we even have country music is because of Black people singing their hymns, you know, especially down south. He would have gave some honor and praise to that. But no, you didn't say anything about Black people on that stage. You specifically said, Shaboozey, you want to give thanks to the immigrants who built this country. You said the immigrants built America. You didn't acknowledge the Black American at not even one time in that final stage of your speech. Black people have also built this country. Oh, now he says Black people have also built this country. Interesting. No, you fool. Black people were the only ones that built this country. This country would not be this country without the Black foundational American. These tethers that look like us, they come into this country, even on our good old Black History Month, they come into the country, insult us on our own ground, and say that we also built the country. No, Shaboozey, we were the only ones that built it. We were the only ones. You fools came later. It's ridiculous. He continues and says, my words were never intended to dismiss that truth. No, see, for a low IQ person that will read this, they would say, okay, well, he's being apologetic. He's saying that he was sorry for what he did that was wrong. No, he's not apologizing here. He's just doubling down on what he stupidly, foolishly said by changing the words. His vernacular is all the same. My words were never intended to dismiss that truth. Well, you still dismissed it, Shagoofy. You still dismissed it. Black people have also built this country. No, we were the only ones. You all came later. It was us first, then everyone else. This is what makes us the foundation of the country. This is why, as much as I am for the African diaspora and I'm in support of my African brothers and sisters, this is why at the same time, I can still acknowledge my foundational Black American roots. I can still acknowledge who I am. Even while having support for the Africans, I can still acknowledge who I am. I know my lineage. Do you know yours? I know who I am. I know what my people have done. Do you know what your people have done? Do you know who you are? The audacity of these people to come into this country and say that they helped to build it. It would have been nice if you guys were here, definitely. I mean, especially I believe this guy, he's coming from Nigeria. They have a huge population over there. And if the population was even half of that and they brought all of them to America, you know, that would be nice, right? Yeah, take if half of them and we can overpower the oppressors and the ones that did the worst to us, that would be great, right? But unfortunately, we just did not have that. We didn't have that. And yes, I know a lot of, the enslaved brothers and sisters came from the western region of Africa, which includes Nigeria. I understand this part. But I'm just saying all this to say that the audacity of these people where they come into the country and they don't acknowledge anything about the Black Americans, they're trying to rewrite our history. It's utterly disgusting and pathetic. This is why, as a foundational Black American, I say to myself, I love my African brothers and sisters, but the truth is the truth. We're all we have is foundational Black Americans. As much as I love you, my people are my people. You guys abandon us, you guys let us go. And I have to worry about the ones that actually need worrying about. I've done a lot inside of Africa. I've done a lot inside of the Black American, foundational Black American communities, but the mission isn't done. If something pops off in America, I'm there. I'm there with my people. I'm there. I travel to Africa a lot. I love Africa. I love the continent. I love a lot of the countries there. Some of the countries are questionable, probably won't be back. But I do love Africa at the end of the day. Those are my people at the same time. But the ones that are truly me, the ones that truly understand me, the ones that truly are me are the foundational Black American people. This is who I am. This is who they are. This is who we are. At the end of the day, we have to acknowledge our African ancestry. Yes, we all came from the motherland. That's what it's called. The motherland birthed, humanity to the rest of the world. This is the origin continent of where we all came from. But at the same time, we can never just forget about the fact that the foundational Black Americans inside of America are a complete different subgenre, a whole different niche of people, just like you would have the Jamaicans, just like you would have the dark skinned Filipinos or the dark skinned Indians. We are a whole different subgenre now. There's no more of this whole, oh, African, we're all African and stuff like that. Not exactly. Not exactly. No, no, not exactly. Not exactly. Not no more. Not no more. Maybe if you guys as Africans were to go ahead and push your governments harder to not only increase the betterment of your own life, but also the betterment of the ones that they sent off to slavery or sold into slavery. Maybe then you would have some foundational Black Americans go to Africa and accept the invite and say, okay, cool, I'm African now. Okay, cool. But as we're in this country, away from y'all, as we are the ones that stayed here, we are the ones that have our ancestors and our grandparents that told us stories. Yeah, we are foundational Black American. This is our lineage. This is who we are. It's very simple. I want to say something that truly disgusts me when we're dealing with these tethers, right? I want to share with you all something that truly disgusts me when we're dealing with these tethers. One of the most disgusting and I would say most disturbing things about dealing with people that immigrate to America is when they completely ignore the whole entire history of what Black Americans had to do to even get them the rights to even be able to come over here. That's one of the most disturbing parts. But when they start to rewrite our own history and say that, oh, they were also the ones that were building the country, which is just not true. You did not build the country. That's when things just start getting really, really shaky and disturbing, because now as a Black society, as the foundational Black American society, we have to determine, are these white tea supremacists the only issue? What about an African that will come to America and say that slavery is in the past? It doesn't really matter like that. We all built America in some shape, form, or fashion. I've never been to an African country and I go there and say that, oh, you know, us Black Americans, we're the ones that I don't go into countries talking like that. I don't do that because we were over here and you were over there. I'm not going to speak ill on your country. That's just no point of doing that. But then we see when they come to our country, they have so much to say. Recently, I did a debate with a lot of these African people. You can find that debate on patreon.com/traveltriberaw. But I did a debate, link in the bio, in the description, excuse me. I don't know where I thought I was at. But I did a debate with these African brothers, and they tell me that, no, excuse me, I did a debate with these African tethers, and they told me that the Black American was sold, but not just that, they were also stolen. And one of the African guys tried to tell me that 80% of the Black Americans that came to America, we were stolen from the land. This is why, as Africans, they have such a huge issue with sagging and the ghetto and the hood culture. They said that, oh, the reason that we have such an issue with you Black Americans is this is what the Africans told me. They said the reason the Africans, I said, why do you guys talk so much about the Black Americans, the foundational Black Americans? And the Africans told me, they said, well, it's because you guys do a lot of ghetto things. You guys sag your pants and the ladies are dramatic and all this stuff like that going on. And yeah, you guys just have a lot of ghetto culture. So when we come to America, since there's freedom of speech, we just speak on the things that you guys need to change and fix. I told these fools just like this: how dare you speak on something that you didn't fix? How dare you speak on something that you let happen? Regardless if we were stolen or sold from Africa, the truth is the truth. You people did not come to our rescue. You never came back. You sold us here to not be alive anymore. You sold us. We were stolen. Whatever thing makes you sleep better at night, whatever helps you sleep better at night. The simple truth is that once we left Africa, we were no longer an African. We are now foundational Black Americans. This is the genesis of a whole new lineage. This is how this works. The sickness from these Africans inside of this live stream, they told me in this debate that you guys can find on patreon.com/traveltriberaw. They tell me that, oh, no, well, we can speak on you guys' issues and stuff because when we get to America, we have freedom of speech. I told these goofies, you're speaking with the same freedom that we fought for y'all to have. You guys see how they backstab us, right? You are speaking about the foundational Black Americans, all the fighting, all the things that we had to do to get these freedoms that we have, all the inhumane things that had happened to us inside of the Black American history, all the torture, all of our offspring being sacrificed, them eating us, them assaulting our women, all this stuff. And you Africans feel the need to comment on us in 2026 and say that, oh, these Black Americans be sagging their ghetto and all types of ish. Does that even make sense? We are not yours. You never came for us. How dare you speak on us? Imagine how that works. Imagine that. Shout out to Miss Mimi. Imani Faith, 1967 says, they sold us and jealous because we survived. I call that, Mimi, the Joseph theory. In the Bible, they said that Joseph, he was sold by his brothers. He eventually became second in command inside of Egypt at some point in time, right? The brothers eventually come back to Joseph at the end and they're shocked that Joseph made it. They sold Joseph to be offed. See, in the Bible, it tells us that the brothers, they were happy to see their brother still alive, but I truly believe there was still some form of resentment. I feel like in real life, what really happens is that they sell you, they say you're stolen from your land, all types of stuff like that. But let's be honest, they sold us. They sold us out. I believe what's really going on internally for a lot of these Africans is jealousy. Now, the majority of Africans, when you're in their country, are they cool people? Yeah. But all these little online tethers, the majority of what they saying, I'm telling you, that's and let me give you guys the link if y'all want to call in too. But I'm telling you, there go the link inside the chat, y'all, if y'all want to call in. It's on all the streaming platforms that I'm on right now. Shout out to Miss Mimi Imani Faith. But I'm telling you, there's a bit of jealousy in that. This is what I call the Joseph theory. There's no way that you guys just sold us and now y'all see we doing better. And now y'all feeling like, okay, well, let's just let them be. Subconsciously, there's going to be some form of resentment. This is natural. But to speak up on it and to say that, oh, they're ghetto, oh, they hood, oh, they be sagging their pants. It's a sickness. It's a sickness. We're dealing with extremely sick and deranged maniac people. I don't care if they're African, they can be deranged maniacs too. Not one day do I look at my African brothers and sisters inside of these countries, see sometimes how they're living, and not think to myself, how can I help them? What can I do to make the situation better? I've been all around the world, as you guys know. I've been to some areas in Africa where it's like nice apartments, but I've also seen where it's really, really bad. And I'm constantly thinking these corrupt governments are not giving enough for their people. I wish their people the best. Maybe I can offer some cash. Maybe I can do some more. And I still am going to do these things regardless for my people in America and for my people in Africa. No problem. No problem. Because I look at it melanation wise. When I'm assisting people, I look at it as melanation. See, I've realized in every country I go to, if you're in India, if you're in South America, the continent, the region, excuse me, if you're in certain countries in Africa, whatever it is, when I look at melanated people, I see myself. And I see people that unfortunately all these governments have decided that white is right and that's going to be on top. We going to make sure every country that I go to, guys, it's like clockwork. Every country I go to, the black is always at the bottom and the white tea people are always a hierarchy. No problem. When I see melanated people in these countries, I say, I'm helping myself when I do these things, right? Because I see these people as my people, right? Never in my life do I blame those African people when they living in certain places. Never do I say this is their fault. I always say if these corrupt governments treated people as the humans they need to be treated as, maybe they wouldn't be in the situation that they're in. But we see these African tethers when they come to America, they have so much to say about black people. Oh, they're hood, they're hoodlums, stay away from them, they're ghetto. Where is the empathy for the Black American man and Black American woman? I'm so curious. Where's the empathy for us? How interesting is that? If anybody deserves empathy or any type of love, it's us. We were sold, or in some Africans, they want to say we're stolen, whatever it is. The simple fact that an African can comment on a Black American man or woman sagging or being ghetto or being hood is disgusting because we were pushed into an environment that wasn't of us. We became the environment so that we can survive the environment. And now we get blamed for being a part of the environment when we didn't act like this pre-colonization. So before we were enslaved, we were family, we were loving, we were just like a lot of the Africans that I see right now inside of Africa. But once we come out of slavery, we're completely different. And you mean to tell me these African people that come to America, they say that, oh, the Black American is the problem when you never did anything to fix it? It's crazy. In the same debate that I had with these Africans, and shout out to Miss Mimi, she's in the comments, she said they are blinded by hate. Oh, yeah, definitely. And that's why I'm here to say on this Black History Month, because this is our story month. This is the foundational Black American month. And I'm here to say that the white tea supremacist and the African tether are just equally as bad. They're just the same. Two sides of the same coin. No different. They both take no accountability. They both say that we're ghetto as Black Americans. They say that we're hood rats, whatever they want to call us. It's very interesting. Something else that's important as well is to note we as foundational Black Americans, right? I say this is another thing that I said inside of the African debate when I had the Africans. You guys can check out that video on patreon.com/traveltriberaw. Link in the description. But another concerning thing for me was that I told them, you know, I have a lot of things to say about Black women, right? You know what I be saying sometimes? I be having my thoughts. I'm like, Black chicks in America, oh my goodness, there's so many issues. Even, at some point, right, I really fed into the propaganda, right? I said, what's wrong with these chicks? Like, what's wrong with them? Like, honestly, like, what's happening? And I heard a lot of Black women saying the same about us Black men. What's wrong with the men? What's wrong with them? Why they act like that? Why they be? And then at some point in time, as you go down the rabbit hole, as you learn more, as you become more, as you do more, you start to realize that, you know what? If I am dealing with a Black woman that may be having certain behaviors that are not typical, this is not her. It came a point to where I started dissecting Black women. And I don't mean that in the same way that the white tea supremacists would do it. I mean that in a way where I actually sat down with them and spoke with them and understood their history. And I said, what started this behavior? Why do you act like this? I've been nice to you. Why do you act like this towards me? Well, no, it's just these dudes, they be out here doing and saying this stuff. So, okay. And what started this problem? What made you start thinking like this? What made you start, acting this way or wearing this type of hair and stuff? This because of this. I said, okay. A lot of times, when I would talk to Black women that a lot of Black or just the whole society, the whole world would consider to be aggressive, I would talk to them and I said, why are you like this? Because at some point, like I said, I used to judge Black women extremely harshly. I would say to myself, why are they acting like this? And the Black woman would say the same about Black men. But as I dissected the Black woman's mind and got to understand them, a lot of this comes from the father not being in the home. And I had to think, well, who programmed the Black woman to think that it was normal to not include a father in the home? Who programmed the Black man to be taking extreme penitentiary chances like this to go ahead and provide for his family? Who programmed the minds like this? And it always brought me back to the same exact place. This is not us. This behavior is not of us. This had to be influenced. We became our environment. If the money is selling dope, if the money is in shaking the woman's behind, this is where people are going to flock. But why do they push that in our communities? Exactly. Like Miss Mimi says. She says it was already planned. Exactly. And it really took me to really like keep digging and thinking back. And I would start speaking to other Black women, and I'm like, well, why do you act like this? And I love having these conversations with Black women too. Like, why do you? Because they tell me a lot about Black men. Oh, Black men this, Black men. I'd be like, okay, well, help me understand why you guys do this. I like to understand, and it always takes me back to the same place, the same exact place. The environment that we are in has had us adopt a lot of sick and disgusting behaviors that we now redistribute inside of our own communities. It was always bringing me back to the same exact place, the same exact place every single time. And when I go to Africa and I'm around these beautiful African women, and they're feminine and they're respectful and all this stuff, I say to myself, damn, any behaviors that the Black woman has in America that I might consider to be not, you know, something that would resonate with me, that would resonate in a masculine man, any behaviors that I feel that the Black woman doesn't have is simply a byproduct of the Black woman being in this environment. And I believe the same grace should be given to the Black man. But one thing that I'll tell you that's always been in my whole entire life, even though I would have my thoughts and I might say certain things to Black women, and there was a certain issue, we've been having these gender wars for quite some time. But one thing always remained the same with me, even though I had a lot of issues with Black females, right? One thing always remained the same. If a white man says some ish, he getting pimp slapped. A white woman say some ish about a Black woman, it's a problem. See, one thing always remained the same because I knew even from a young age that none of this is really us. But it wasn't until I researched and so I started asking questions with the Black woman, what exactly is happening? How did you become like this? Why are we like this? That I started to really kind of understand what's going on. We adapted to this sick environment that they created, that now they blame us for, but previous to this, we didn't act like this. In Africa, we weren't acting like this. In Africa, they say we have flourishing communities. We took lots of baths, something that some people weren't used to in certain countries. We associated with family heavily. We are the ones that brought up the concept of it takes a family. We were unified. They changed our history, and now they blame us for it. It's a sickness. It's truly a sickness, everyone. It's truly a sickness. I remember this one I think it was a Mexican dude or a white dude or some stupid fool. I'm in a parking lot walking back to my car with my groceries in my cart. And this little Black kid is about to run in front of some car that's backing out. And I see the woman, she runs to the kid and grabs the kid real quick. And I shake my head like, damn, man, that little kid almost got ran over. I guess the white boy, he sees me doing that. He's like, man, I don't know what's wrong with them. He was like, I know, man, I know. Like, I don't know what's wrong with them. It had to be a Mexican because a white boy ain't never been that bold to me. It must have been a Mexican, actually. And I said, what'd you say? And he seen I wasn't smiling. And he said, no, I'm just saying, I mean, the dude, the kid, like, they be like, he starts stuttering over his words. I'm like, no, what you said, they always like, what? Like, what you mean by that? Because even though I don't like this whole concept of the single mother, still I can acknowledge the fact that previously before this, we didn't have single mothers. Previously before this, even if there was a single mother, the community would rise up and assist that Black queen. That's how things was. But since we've been in their sick environment for all these years, we've adapted. And unfortunately, while we adapted, which shows strength, we've also adapted a lot of their disgusting traits as well. So I've always been like this, like just with the sickness of them, the sickness, the audacity. So that's why when I was doing the debate with those Africans to wrap up my story was when the Africans tell me, oh, the Black Americans are so ghetto and hood. I say to them, how dare you speak on ones that you didn't come to save? If you care so much, why did you let us go and stay for this long? That's interesting. You have certain people that will just, start something and then they don't finish it. Then that thing becomes dangerous or it becomes toxic or something. And now they say, damn, why is it acting like that? You left it. This has nothing to do with the product. You are the problem. You created that product. You created it. A lot of people don't know this, but a lot of people don't even think about this, but there was a story, and this happens in some supermarkets too. It's actually super dangerous. A lot of these small family mom and pop supermarkets, they might go ahead and get a lot of products coming in, right, to their supermarket. But one day they might stop, coming to the store. One day they might fall ill and they can't come back to the store. So for months and months, that store is closed, but nobody knows what's going on. And it starts to become an extremely toxic biosphere, and it starts leaking into the community and gets everyone sick. You see what I'm saying? This is what happens when you don't finish what you started. You Africans sold us. You Africans sold us into slavery. Then we have these Africans come here and then they complain and say, oh, you guys are ghetto, you guys are hood. But I ask the Africans right now, if you are watching and you're African, I ask you, what did you do to fix the situation that you started? Do not complain because the Black Americans may be experiencing some challenges. You didn't fix the situation in the first place. We made do with what we had. That's the difference from us and you. Shout out to the Africans that stay in their country and that fight the good fight, but for the ones that leave to come over here and talk ish about the Black Americans who never left, who were never even offered a place to go. We, as Black Americans, we were going through our own genocide. We rarely had any African countries say, hey, let's welcome you as a fugitive to our country. Let's welcome you because you're going through something. You're being misplaced. Let's welcome you. We've never had that. We've never had that. Yeah, shout out to Miss Mimi says, complain, just go home. Right. But they are worse than hood. They have no electricity, plumbing, and live in huts. I'd rather live in the ghetto than in a hut in Africa. Well, I'll tell you this. There is some Africans that actually do have some nice apartments. There is Africans that actually do have, the basic necessities. They say that a lot of them live in huts, but no, a lot of the Africans, they actually live decent. But when you compare our decent with their decent, our decent always wins. See, we have healthcare that will help you regardless of your situation. Their healthcare says you better pay up before you even go into surgery. But it's an emergency. We don't care. That's how their countries be treating them. That's why I'm saying a lot of these African countries, they have extremely corrupt governments. But I will say this, not one time did I blame the African brothers and sisters and say, well, you guys are the reason you guys are starving. Haha, that's what you guys get. That's what y'all get. That's what you guys get. But when they come over here, we're in a worse position than they are too, by the way. We just made, this is, if anybody's curious how the Black American was able to get this far, it's very simple. Pressure creates diamonds. We are the diamond that the pressure created. What happened inside of America was no more than I'm not even going to say a miracle. I'm going to say it was no more than cosmic intervention. This is definite because if it wasn't for us, they would have obliterated all of us, just like the Africans that sold us had wanted. And it was us as well. Cosmic intervention, most likely from our tribal ancestors, the Africans that did pray for us. Who knows how deep this spiritual stuff goes? Let's talk about realistic stuff, right? But it's just hard for me to conceptualize the divinity of life sometimes, So sometimes I say things that, haven't been proven by science. I say that that's maybe false, but I'm always open-minded to certain things because the things that we did personally with our own physical bodies to defend ourselves and to get ourselves out of an oppressive state, I'm thinking to myself, that was no more than a mere miracle. When I compare us Black Americans to every other melanated person on the face of this earth, I think to myself, we are the most resilient, most amazing people on the face of this earth. Imagine going against guns with your bare hands. Imagine that. People always like to rewrite history, but I'm here to remind you that his story is only his story. That's not our story. And the truth is that Abraham Lincoln didn't feel bad for the slaves and say, let's free them. I've even heard people try to theorize and say that, oh, Abraham Lincoln, he probably was Black or something deep down inside. No, the truth is that Black people said enough is enough. Black people started to see the use of guns. We started to put down the religion. And that's when we got to the action. And I'm saying the cosmic intervention because I'm saying that the fact that we did all that and no other country could replicate it and have the type of deal we have right now. Look at Haiti. Shout out to the Haitians. Powerful, powerful. But the simple truth is the Haitians unfortunately didn't receive the same deal that we did. We made our situation the best on earth, given all melanated people. That's why every melanated person sees America as the place to be. We did this. And we didn't stop till we got the best deal possible that said our youth could grow up, they can work jobs, they can be free. The only thing that I wish we kept fighting hard for at that moment in time was those reparations. That's the only thing I wish our people, kept fighting hard for. But the fact that we freed ourselves from slavery, amazing. You should all clap it up for yourselves right now. Take a round of applause because your ancestors lived through you. Your ancestors lived through you. All that you've accomplished, all that you've done, it's you, of course. You first. You put in the work. You physically put in the works, blood, sweat, and tears. But we have to acknowledge some cosmic divine power that most likely assisted us in this journey. Some people say mama this, and I don't really exactly know the names yet. I'm not going to act like I'm educated on the certain names of African spirituality or, whatever hymns that we were singing, but whatever we did worked. It worked, and we got the best deal out of it. And unfortunately, we're still going through issues to this day. But I will say that out of all African people on this planet, out of all melanated people, I won't even just say Africans, out of all melanated people, we got the best deal possible. The best deal possible. The best deal. I've been all around the world. We got the best deal possible. We got the best deal. And we didn't settle either. We didn't settle. We still on their necks. We still on their necks. You know what I'm saying? So that's that one. So yeah, there we go on the FBA versus African diaspora. The erasing of our history is highly unfortunate that the Africans come here and they have so much to say. But I do want to encourage all the African brothers and sisters to not only see what the Black Americans have done, but to replicate it. And you can take that as you may. I'm not saying to, cause harm or to do bloodshed. I'm simply just saying that, we had a revolution and it worked for us. And I expect to see your countries also flourishing and thriving. We have countries like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger that are doing amazing things. And this is the power of when you work together with your people and that you uphold a leader that's actually looking out for the people, not a puppet, a true leader that looks out for you. This is the importance of that. Excuse me. Excuse me for that. I had to spit. All right. So let's get on to the next portion of this, and then we'll close out with the next steps for the Black American in this foundational Black American month. The entire world acts oblivious. I wanted to also throw that in there as well. After the FBA versus African diaspora whole topic, but I wanted to also throw into the fact that the whole world turns their eyes to the Black Americans. It's the most sickest thing that I've seen in my life. The audacity of people in other countries. They speak so much ill about the foundational Black Americans, but we have done so much to shape the entire world. We've done so much, from civil rights to social media to sports to medicine to legacy to lineage. We've done so much to shape this world. And what do we have? A bunch of people that tell us that, you guys are just ghetto. You guys are just hood. They turn a blind eye to everything that happens to the foundational Black Americans. It's truly sick. It's truly sick. It's truly sick. So I just wanted to conclude that part on we're all that we have. It's important to find your tribe. It's super important, everyone. Super important. Like I said earlier, we must uplift. So long are the days that we look at our brothers and sisters and we see that they're trying and we say that, oh, you made one mistake or something like that. Let's just shame you. Let's continuously shame you. No, we uplift our people. We're resilient people. We cannot fall for the propaganda of being against each other for any longer. Today is the time of reckoning. This year is the time of reckoning. The rest of our lives are the time of reckoning. Because while they might not give us reparations, setting up a livable lineage or a livable future for the rest of our people is reparations enough for ourselves. Miss Mimi comes in and says, FBA and proud of my lineage. Yes, FBA and proud. Yes, sister. Great. That is amazing. We need more people like you. Seriously. I mean, a lot of people don't even identify with the title. And you see some foundational Black Americans, they're a bit confused. I was confused at first as well, but I am not a person that is not open to change. That's very important when you're in a sick society. You have to be open to adapting very fast. So yeah, kudos to all the FBAs. We still fight the good fight. And yeah, I mean, one second, let me. And yeah, I'm still an advocate of the African diaspora too, and I want to explain why. I think I explained a bit earlier, but I just wanted to throw out this. There's a lot of greatness inside of Africa, and I see a lot of good in the people there. My biggest issue when I go to Africa is sometimes I believe these governments can be extremely corrupt and they leave their people with nothing. It's actually truly demonic and evil. So while this is foundational Black American month, I want to encourage all the Africans that are listening to also, as I can be humble and as I can be empathetic towards your situation with your corrupt governments and the evil that you face inside of your countries, be empathetic and look at our environment as Black Americans. We need to stop this shaming one another kind of tactic. It's counterproductive. It doesn't help anything. The only thing that can truly help is true unity. And we're not all going to agree on everything, you know, but this is why it's important to separate into tribes. And the good thing about tribes is that the tribes, at least I'm talking about, is that we all have similar beliefs. The biggest issue I'm having currently is that I'm just going to let you guys a bit into my personal, right? As I ask Africans, what's your thoughts on reparations? I've been met with a lot of people telling me that they're not in support of Black Americans getting reparations. That has been a bit troubling because, as it pertains to the African diaspora, I'm always supportive of them getting what their government owes them. I believe the African governments need to give their people a great due of money because the things that they've done to their people inside of Africa is nothing more than corrupt. It's corrupt and evil and demonic. So the same way that I can encourage the, certain governments, of power to give back to your people, let your people live a life that's worth living, do more inside the communities to assist them and uplift them, like Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger, the amazing Sahel states inside of Africa that are being born. The same is what I'm expecting from the African diaspora. Uplift, be in support of reparations, do what's right. If you're curious as to, well, why should Black people get reparations as an African? Well, let me tell you now, the African slave trade towards America was one of the most inhumane and unjust things that has happened on the face of this earth. I don't care what they tell you about other white countries and other places that have their genocides and stuff like that. The thing that happened inside of America was the worst thing that any human has ever done to another species of people, another not species because we're the same, but we were treated as not even the same species. So I want all you to know, for all the Africans that are in, you know, for all the Africans that are not in support of Black people getting reparations, if you're curious as to why we deserve that, that's because not only were we enslaved when we got taken from Africa, we were also brutally tortured. Our offspring were thrown into the pits of alligator mouths. Our women were beaten and assaulted. The men were castrated and experimented on. They did such a number on us and we freed ourselves. We have to keep that in mind. There was a huge bloody war that happened in between us getting our freedom that they never want to bring up. But if you do your research, which I urge all you Africans to do, you will find all of these things that I'm saying being said, how they cooked us and used our bones and did all these different disgusting and torturous things to us. You'll find all this information there. The reason we ask for reparations is because we are owed an amount that's due. Our communities are sometimes, in disarray. Our communities are sometimes messed up. And that's only a byproduct of the enslavers. That's only a byproduct of them and all the torturous and treacherous things they've done. You may be thinking, well, why can't you just move on? We can't move on. This is money that's owed to us. Let me ask you, as an African, would you move on if your government that let your mother pass away inside of the hospital, and you know that the government had money, but they chose to buy Mercedes Benzes and, just ignored your mother and maybe your offspring or something? Would you just ignore that? Or would you keep fighting the right fight so that you can get the compensation that you are rightfully due? That's all I'm asking. Take time to consider and do research. My African brothers and sisters is very important. Um, Ms. Mimi says they do not want FBA to get reparations, but will not speak on other cultures getting reparations. This is why I agreed to delineate. Yes, yes, it's very important. I actually, and other cultures do get their reparations, which is super unfortunate, because while I'm happy for them, it's just this doesn't help us. You know what I'm saying? It's like they turn the blind eye to us and everyone else they got it, but for us, we just should just move on. I urge you Africans to also consider, what would the Japanese community be without the reparations they received? What would the other communities that got reparations in America be without their reparations? Just food for thought. So now we're on to the next steps, right? We're on to the next steps. And I wanted to real quick show as well. I wanted just to show you guys real quick the type of Black sisters that we had uh that we had, just to show you guys how sick the environment is. So these are the great black women that we had and we still have inside of the black community, right? But as you guys can see on your screen, this is the ones that are out here now. You know, I don't even be blaming some of these chicks for doing the type of stuff they have to do to make money, because the way I look at it, this is an unfortunate circumstance that we're in this country. You ain't got no money, you ain't got no power, you ain't got no money, you ain't got no life. That's just how it works in this country. Everything is soulless, everything is money, capitalism, and matrix. That's it. So some of this stuff I look at, I'm like, you know what? Okay, I get it. I understand wearing the tight outfits. I understand all this stuff. But I want you guys to see what number they did on us. Look at the black women that we used to have back in the day. Aren't they beautiful? Natural hair, covered up. See, something in my mind when I look at women like this makes me truly believe that I'm looking at a queen of an entire nation. This is when I look at women like this, I say, man, these women right here appreciating they natural, loving they self. You can tell they smell good. You just know. But then seeing chicks like this, I say to myself, I get it. I get you trying to make the money, but it's sad what they've done. It's sad. It's sad because they're trying to adapt. They're trying to adapt to the country that they're in. Y'all understand what I'm saying? They trying to adapt to this society. Money is power. Money means you can live a life that's worth living. But man, do I miss these days right here. Man, oh man. Man, oh man, do I miss these days right here, y'all. Man. Shout out to the black sisters that we have that still look the part, man. Godly, they still trying and they still doing. That's for a fact. But man, this is what we get to see now. Ladies with, sometimes they be having blonde hair in their head and stuff, and it's just BBL galores, all types of it. Shout out to the natural black joints, but I'm like, golly, Infamous says, damn. Yeah, but see, these is the ladies right here that's like, while they look cool and, my mind doesn't see these women as like, am I going to wife or is this like for a night? You dress for like it's for a night, baby girl. Like, it's like, what? These women right here in my mind says protect at all cost, queen, goddess, beautiful, and it's just sad because I'm saying, look at how much they've changed. They took the black man and turned him into like the way the black man dresses these days too. It's just ridiculous. Like even the black men be dressed messed up and even they be all over the place with they fashion. The brothers be out here wearing pink on pink outfits with purses and dangling earrings. Like, golly. That's a combo of I'm not going to say the word, but it's a combo of interesting behaviors, right? But look at how they changed us from how we originally used to be. Look at this, y'all. Look at how they changed us. This is the new norm. See how we're getting used to this? See how we've been desensitized? Look how we're getting used to this. When's the last time we just seen a woman like this and just appreciated just natural beauty, just healthy? Mimi comes in and says, black men are more sassy. Hey, I wasn't going to say it. Yep. Hey, man, it'd be like that. Hey, they out here, man. But I'm just saying, though, for everyone that's listening, look at how we've changed so much because we had to adapt to their life and their history. This is how they programmed us to be. We were never like this. Just imagine that. Sad, man. It's sad. That's why it's important to find your tribe. Find the people that resonate with you. So let's get on to the next steps. I know I've been here for a while. Let's get on to the next step. What's important next for the Black community inside of this foundational Black American month, right? The next most important thing is finding your tribe, finding a group of people that think like you, have similar points of views, sticking together and creating your unit, pushing towards a goal. That's what's most important next. Because the unfortunate truth of the reality that we live in is you have to accept that not all of your people will make it. Not all of us are going to make it, y'all. This is the unfortunate truth, right? Inferno says, Miss, well, they're sassy based on who raised them. Then he comes back and says, I love natural women. Oh man, brother, don't we all? Don't we all? Like, golly, man. Man. Oh my goodness. Don't give me. Well, I'd be reminiscing like hell. Like, can y'all remember like the 90s? Like, I mean, golly, like, can any of these new chicks like compete with 90s women, y'all? Ruby Rose? Ruby Rose got like a cool little figure going, right? But is you gonna wife her though? Like, I mean, it's just like I'm saying, y'all, like all these chicks give for the night energy, like none of them serious. Like, it's just you can remember like these 90 chicks, even when they was covered up, they just look fine. Like you look at these ladies and you're like, damn, like she covered like a nun, but she still looked like like a goddess. Like how I mean, it's just so beautiful. Like it's just like, damn, I mean it's just so amazing. It's so sad. I mean, it's so different nowadays, man. It's so different. I really do miss, you know, them that 90s beauty, man. I mean, godly, we had the best of the best, man. It's just like, damn, and we still got some sisters out there and we still got some brothers that's not sassy. But that's the most important part for the next steps for this foundational Black American month and foundational Black American forever, because this isn't just a month, this for the rest of our life, for the rest of our legacy. The most important next step is finding your tribe, finding sisters and brothers that are like-minded and unifying, being together and having a group together. Y'all need to have that group together. Brotherhoods and sisterhoods need to come back together, man. It's super important because it's going to be either them or us. Them or us. Either we're going to lose so much of our history believing his story that we're going to forget ourselves, or we going to have our own communities where we go ahead and flourish and thrive because we decide what our story will be. It's the only way it can work. It's the only way it can work. The next important thing as well is as you're trying to form your tribe, consider this. A lot of people, you going to think maybe I can add all these different people into my tribe, all this stuff like that, yada, yada, yada. Your tribe, unfortunately, is most likely only going to include maybe about 5 to 10 people. Some of your family might not even make it into your tribe because your family is too goofy minded and they too foolish believing his story versus what our story needs to be. We need to stop talking about his story. Who cares about his story? Let's talk about ours. Let's talk about how we going to make our story better for the future of us and the future of our lineage. Let's talk about that next. And a lot of people, unfortunately, your family, your friends, they might not even understand. If you're blessed, you might get 10 people in this life that agree and you guys can commingle and build an empire together. If you're blessed, some people it's only going to be 5. Some people it's only going to be 2 or 3. But just know when you have your tribe, life becomes easier. It becomes easier. There needs to be laws, rules, code of conducts inside of this as well. In the midst of chaos, you can have your peace. It's possible. But it takes strategic planning. Next, I want to urge everyone that's listening since this is the quote unquote Black History Month, right? That I don't celebrate. I celebrate our history forever. Foundational Black history forever. That's what I celebrate. But I'll tell you guys this. We have to take into account not the white T man's history, but we have to get all of our elders' histories before they go. We got a lot of people out here that is older, and they just live. They've seen a lot. It's so important that before they exit, we get everything written out. We need it all written out or documented. I don't care if they want to do a YouTube channel, whatever they need to do. We need it all on paper. What are the things that you've learned from this life? That's the first question we ask our elders. What are the things that you've learned in this life? Number two, how can we take advantage from the things that you've learned in this life? So firstly, what are the things that you as our elder have learned in this life? And secondly, how we can take advantage of what you've learned in this life. Very important that we get this from the elders before they exit out from their journey on this planet. Very, very important, because I've learned so much from elders and people who are, that just, have lived a certain time period that I wasn't around. And I've learned so much, and that's really tremendously helped my life to the point where I'm even able to give these words to y'all right now. Because I was put on. A lot of people, y'all in the hood, I was raised in the hood. I see these OGs in the street. They ain't teaching ish. They ain't teaching nothing. They ain't teaching nothing except how a lot of us young Black men can throw away our lives and end up in jail. But then you have some Black brothers, the ones that nobody asks questions to. The Black brothers that's quiet, the Black sisters that's older, that's quiet, the uncles, the aunties, the ones that's lived and seen it all. See, I know I'm a smart and intelligent man, but I also know that I have to go off of what you say as well, because your history also matters. I need to take that into account as well as I move forward in my life. It's extremely important. Because yes, I can read the books. Yes, I can go on Google. Yes, I can go ahead and say and listen to podcasts and what these people say. But I also need to hear from the elders too. What have you learned from this life? And how can I extract that so that it benefits me in this life? Very, very important. Because there's so many people, even you yourself that's watching this video right now. We need to get all the elders to give us their information before they exit up out of this life, because that information is crucial for our survival. If we rely on his story, then his future will be our story. If we rely on our story, the one that we teach one another, the one that the elders teach us, then we have more understanding of how our story will be in our future. This is how it works. This is how it works. And it's extremely important to get their information early on, have them write books. Because I was going to tell you, brothers and sisters that's watching today, right? You that's listening, you're probably an intelligent brother. You probably an intelligent sister that's watching, right? A lot of us have some information, right? We have some good information, but we see the powers that be. They never let us seem to rise up to power, right? They never let us rise up too high. Who are the ones that they let typically rise up? Oh, the people that will embarrass us, the people that will make a mockery of the foundational Black American name, correct? This is who gets risen up to power. And when you have all this information, one day we'll be old too. One day we will be the elders. Our offspring, our youth, they'll ask us these questions. But the ones who they're really going to listen to are the ones that are on YouTube, the ones that are on social media, But they'll be asking and be curious about certain things. Well, these people online are saying these things, but I feel like there's more to the puzzle. So even we must do our dues and write our books too. Because even with the slight information that you know as a black man or black woman right now, that is crucial for the future of the foundational Black American community. This is the truth. And the last thing I wanted to say is that Black is daily. This Black History Month is more than a profitable holiday for the capitalist. This is our life. We live this every day. Some of us not even making a penny off of this. This is our life. So we must take it serious as foundational Black American men and women. We must. It's a must. We need to stop doing this thing where we talk about it for a month or congregate for a month and act like we buddy and family for a quick live stream. We need to unify. The time is now. When you ask the elders of before, what were we supposed to do? They'll tell you, what can you do? What will we do? The time is now. You unify now. You get it done now. When you do it now, your future becomes brighter. I'll repeat, when you do it now, your future becomes brighter. This is how it works. This is how it works. Our life is more than a profitable holiday. Shout out to everyone that's listening. And yeah, I guess I'll conclude on that note. Thank you all for listening and watching. Is my camera blurry? The whole time has been blurry? Of course it's been blurry. Why wouldn't it be blurry, right? Oh man, come on. I swear they do these things on purpose. You would swear, even the psychosis of just believing that, they're infiltrating our, channels. Who knows what they're doing, No, we can't ever say that they're not, though. That's the one thing we can't say that, no, that's not possible. Maybe they wouldn't do that. No, we have to consider that any possibility is possible, knowing them, right? I mean, who would have thought that horror movies could be real? I mean, we read earlier in the live stream that they would eat us, use our skin as handbags, have our skulls up on their desk. So anything is possible with these demons. Never forget, this is how they work. I coined a term about last year when I was inside of Africa. I said, I want to remember it perfectly. Am I forgetting it right now? Golly, don't blank on me at the end. Been going on for almost 2.5 hours. It was unpredictable, circumstances. Come on. It's at the tip of my tongue. Oh my God. Hey man, I'm trying to get it, y'all. Gosh, it's right there too. It's right there. It's like at the tip of my tongue right now. Pause, but golly, I'll explain it since unfortunately right now it's not coming to my mind, but it was a great term that I coined. But basically, it basically explains that. Oh, I got it. Boom. Uncoincidental coincidences. In this life, sometimes we think to ourselves that the reason we're not winning or the reason we're not doing well is maybe because, we're not working hard enough, maybe because we don't have, certain things in our favor. And a lot of times we as Black people, we blame ourselves and say that, oh, we're the problem, or we're the reason this relationship isn't working out, or this is going weird and this is happening. But one thing we know about these demons that they're willing to do anything and everything to ensure our destruction. So sometimes a lot of these problems that we're facing in our life, while we should take accountability, accountability is real, and sometimes it's extremely unfortunate that you can't change it in some circumstances. but we do have to beware of uncoincidental coincidences. They'll tell you it's just a coincidence that you didn't get that job, or it's just a coincidence that your marriage didn't work. It's just a coincidence. It's just a coincidence. All these are just coincidences, all this stuff. But I'm here to tell a lot of you that a lot of this is pre-programmed, a lot of this is pre-installed, a lot of this is known information already. It's not a coincidence that something bad may have happened in your life. These powers that be, look at on my screen right here, we have Malcolm X and Martin Luther King. They told us, that, oh, I don't know who shot him, sound like the Tupac album, right? But later on, they say the powers that be shot him. Interesting, interesting, huh? We have some people, condolences to, I want to say his name correctly, so give me a second. Condolences to, let me make sure I get this right real quick. We have coincidences like they say Gaddafi's son, uh, he recently passed away, and I'm not laughing at the fact that he passed away. I'm laughing because they expect us to believe that this was just a coincidence and things like this just happened. But as you guys can see on your screen, condolences to Gaddafi's son, but they say, you know, oh, it just happened. Oh, I don't know what happened. Oh my goodness. So interesting, so interesting. I remember I was in a one country actually, and I was going to be doing a lot for a lot of African people, and I was going to be doing a lot for a lot of Black Americans as well. I had some really big plans on speaking with somebody that was of extreme power in this country, and all of a sudden they fell ill and passed away. Hmm. And that was very odd to me. I never got the true answers of how that happened. Just very weird. Maybe it was just a coincidence. A lot of us tell ourselves, but I'm here to tell you that a lot of these things are not coincidences at all. It's an uncoincidental coincidence. That's a fact. It's an uncoincidental coincidence. Gender wars. Oh, gender wars, black men and black women going back and forth with each other. Interesting. Interesting. So I'm supposed to hate my black sisters, right? Oh, okay, okay. Supposed to hate them. Hmm. I shouldn't hate you though, even though you created this environment to where we can't thrive. This is an acidic environment. For everybody that's curious as to why it's so hard for the Black American man or woman to thrive inside of this survival and survive inside of this country, this is an extremely acidic environment. Our pH isn't even meant for this. These are acid people. We're talking about the demons here. They're acidic. Not all white people are evil or demonic, but I'm just saying that we're dealing with some true demons in this country, acidic people. And in Africa, we lived in high pH levels. This is why we all smell good. And we all had cocoa butter and all these things that kept us good, right? But it's not a coincidence that they're sparking these gender wars. It's not a coincidence that Gaddafi's son just got offed or somehow magically just ended up, something happening. It's not a coincidence that Malcolm X and Martin Luther King, these are all uncoincidental coincidences. Never be fooled to believe what they want you to believe. It's never a coincidence in this reality that I've learned. But anyways, if you guys would like to catch me on my other platforms, you feel so much obliged. It's definitely appreciated. We have patreon.com/traveltriberaw. You guys can get a lot of my raw and exclusive content. As you guys can see on your screen, we have the Financial Freedom Masterclass. That one's really good. And also Why a King Must Leave America. Now, you know, in this Patreon video, Why a King Must Leave America, a lot of times we think that, oh, leaving America means that we shouldn't still care for our people. We're completely like disregarding our people and we're leaving and we're not going to have ties. No, no. I'm not saying to relinquish your citizenship and leave America for good. I'm saying make your good money in America, but live in safer, healthier environments. The simple truth is that Africa has been very beneficial for my mental health. This is true. Africa is extremely safe. for a lot of countries. The only thing is sometimes infrastructure might be an issue, but they do have some very nice places inside of Africa that are affordable, where you can get good neighbors, where it's a community, people care for you. You can find a great wife or maybe a great husband. They have certain things inside of some of these countries that would be good to look into, definitely good to look into. We have some good people here. We have some good communities out here as well. But the overwhelming majority of this country is acidic. It's a demonic country that we're living in right here. All right. So that's why I say a king must leave America. Doesn't mean that you forget your people and stop doing for your people. Even when I go, even when I leave, to Africa, I'm still doing things inside of America to benefit my people. But at the same time, I do appreciate, certain environments that are less acidic. I'll leave it at that. We also have the video I did with a brother that he, as you guys can see in the middle of your screen right here. Let me show you guys again. Burkina Faso exposed. I had a black. He was actually from the UK, and he basically explained, his conversation with the leader of Burkina Faso, who is Ibrahim Traore. That was a very insightful conversation. You also have. Let me do this. All my social medias on the screen right here. If you guys would like to follow, if you guys would like to message me, hit me in the DMs on Instagram. That's where I'm usually at. Email traveltriberaw at gmail.com. And yeah, that's really all to it, guys. Super chat, cash app, $ travel tribe raw. All support is definitely appreciated. On Patreon, we have a community of over 50 plus members. I want to say shout out to all of my members. A shout out to every single one of you Patreon supporters, man. I definitely put in work on that Patreon, man. So I do appreciate all you guys for joining and being a part of this thing that we have going. And yeah, it's definitely important, man. Good information, good live streams on there. Sometimes when I'm not live streaming here, I'm definitely on the Patreon. The live stream will be uploaded on the Patreon. So, good content, most definitely. But yeah, that's really all to it. I appreciate you all for being here. Stay raw, stay real. You already know the deal. Beware of uncoincidental coincidences. And until next time, we gone. Holla.